Hello everyone, hope everyone is doing well. Today in this lecture, we are going to see how we can figure out the optimal consumption bundle of an individual using his budget set and his indifference curve. So we have learned in a previous lecture that I have in my channel how we draw the budget set, and we have also learned in another video how to explain indifference curves. In this video, we're going to combine those two together to see how we can select the optimal consumption bundle. Let's say this is my budget set, and let's say we are choosing between two types of good. One could be bread, and the other one could be butter. So we have selected using the prices and the income of a person that this is going to be the budget set. Now we have also learned in our previous lecture that everybody has a certain preference for the number of bread and butter that they may consume. So in our case, we can draw our indifference curve. And let's say it's a regular indifference curve that we have so far used, and it's somewhat curved like this. So this is going to be my indifference curve, and this is my budget set. Now we are going to find out what is going to be our optimal consumption bundle that we have talked about up here. The consumer is having more utility as we move outwards. So if I'm looking at IC1 and I'm comparing it with IC2, IC2 is giving me a higher utility than IC1 at every point. So if I'm, let's say, consuming this point, let's say point D, and if I have another point, let's say point M, this point M is much more preferred than this point D because M is at a higher indifference curve. So from here we can see that if I'm at IC1 and if the black line is my budget set, yes, I could consume these points definitely, but I could do slightly better if, let's say, I move a little higher and I go to another indifference curve, IC2. And then again, yes, I am better off here. These points are better off than the points on the red indifference curve. But I can see that, well, I can do slightly more. I can do slightly better if I move at a little higher indifference curve. So something like this. I mean, they're all supposed to be parallel to each other, but, since I'm drawing it on a tablet with, my hand, so they're not exactly looking parallel, but assume that they're parallel. So we can see IC3 here. Now this one too is parallel to IC2, and I can see that the points in IC3 are better off than the points in IC2 or IC1. Now here we come with the dilemma. The points, let's say, up here, these points are, yes, they are better off than the points on IC2 and IC1. So these points are unattainable, and the reason is they are outside of this budget curve that we have just drawn, the black budget curve down right here. These points are unattainable because they are unaffordable. So similarly, points here are also unattainable. The only point that seems to be affordable for the person that gives the highest utility is the point that is tangent to the budget curve. So which one? The one right there. So this one is definitely attainable and affordable. Thus, from here, we can see that the optimal consumption bundle for this individual are not points inside the budget set because I can do better. I can get more utility if I move outwards. They are not somewhere outside the budget set like these because those points are unaffordable. It is the point that is on the budget set, on the line of the budget set, and where the indifference curve is tangent to the budget set. So in other words, if I redraw this, I can see where the exact optimal consumption bundle is going to be. From here, we can see that the optimal consumption bundle is going to be point M. This is where the budget set or the budget line and the indifference curve are tangent to each other. So in other words, the optimal bundle that we just found out, and this bundle is the bundle M. This is telling us, this is the point where the indifference curve just touches the budget set. The optimal amount of bread consumed is this point. So let's call it B1. And the optimal consumption point for butter is going to be, let's say, this amount, which is B2. So what we are doing here is we are maximizing our utility subject to our budget constraint. So mathematically, we can actually find this if we have an equation for the shape of the indifference curve, and if we have income of the person given and the prices of bread and butter given, then we can actually calculate the optimal consumption bundle. Theoretically, what this is telling us, we can think about it in this way, or this, how do we figure out this point M? Well, we can see that the marginal utility, that means, let's say, bread, divided by the price of bread at point M is going to equal to the marginal utility of butter divided by the price of butter. So that means at point M, the additional utility I get from consuming one additional unit of bread, that is what the marginal utility is, divided by the price of bread. So think about it, marginal utility per dollar that I spend on bread will equal to the marginal utility of butter divided by the price of butter. So this is where we actually find out our optimal consumption bundle. Now, what if we have some non-traditional indifference curve? So let's say one where we have complements or substitutes. In that case, let's say we have our example, butter and bread. I switch butter to y-axis, bread to x-axis. It's pretty much the same idea. Now, we know bread and butter could be complements because if we have bread, we would like to have some butter with accompany our bread. And so in that case, we know that the indifference curves are what we would call, they are shaped like this, instead of being shaped curve that we have used before. So in our case, we would use the same idea as before. What if the shape is like that? Well, then if we have this indifference curve, well, at this point, yes, this is fulfilling the ratio of butter to bread that I like, but I can do better. I can actually move outwards. In this case, it wouldn't be a tangent because this point is it is not curved, so we cannot find the slope here. So, but basically, this is the point where it barely touches the budget set. But the idea is the same anywhere where it is absolutely just touching the budget line, this indifference curve. So I C2, wherever it's touching our budget line, that's where we have the optimal consumption bundle. So now let's talk about the case where we may have perfect substitutes. Let's say something like tea or coffee. We may choose one or the other, and we said that for products like these, which are substitutes, the indifference curve is actually shaped like a straight line. So we may have an indifference curve that is shaped like this. So if this is my budget set, so actually I have a budget set right here, then if this is the shape of my indifference curve, how do we find the optimal consumption bundle? So let's say our indifference curve for this example is shaped like this. So the red line is our indifference curve and the black line is our budget set. So this is, let's say, IC1. I can see that points in this portion are definitely, they are affordable, but I can do better because as I move upwards, I can actually consume more and I am at a higher indifference curve. So then what I will do is, as a consumer, I will try to move upwards, maybe up to line here. Now this is going to be my new indifference curve, but I can see I can do a lot better and I can move even higher, maybe even up to, I'll keep on going until maybe I am parallel to the other indifference curve, but I'm just touching the budget line at point M right here. So then based on this shape, I can see that my preference here is I prefer tea more to coffee, and so I consume only tea and no coffee. Similarly, if my indifference curves were steeper, let's say that my indifference curves were shaped like this, the green line, I can see that I would have actually gone all the way rightwards until maybe I will be at that point. So then if my indifference curve was this, let's say IC3, then I would only consume coffee, and so my consumption bundle would have been M1. So then this is then telling us that the shape of the indifference curve, how steep it is or how flat it is, tells us whether we consume only tea or only coffee. And consequently, this is how we find our consumption bundle. Now, what if we are in the case where, let's say that our indifference curve is actually shaped like this? It's actually parallel to the budget set. So then we are exactly on the line because, if we go outwards, we cannot consume more. It's unaffordable. If we are inwards, then we are exactly, we are consuming less, and so we are not getting the highest utility. So then if my indifference curve is parallel to my budget line, then any point on the budget set, so all these points are now possible. So I can then say if the indifference curve of perfect substitutes is parallel to the budget line, then I can consume on any point on the budget line, and that would be my optimal consumption bundle. Hopefully this was helpful, and I will see you at a later video. Have a good day. Goodbye.